Let's turn our attention to John chapter 2. This is one of the familiar passages that you have heard several times in your Sunday school, also in church messages. You have heard this several times. So this is not a new passage. John chapter 2, starting from verse 1, it reads like this. On the third day, a wedding took place at Cana in Galilee. Jesus' mother was there, and Jesus and disciples had also been invited to the wedding. When the wine was gone, Jesus' mother said to him, "They have no more wine." "Woman, why do you involve me?" Jesus replied, "My hour has not yet come." His mother said to the servants, "Do whatever he tells you." Nearby stood 6 stone water jars, the kind used by Jews for ceremonial washing, each holding from 20 to 30 gallons. Jesus said to the servants, "Fill the jars," and they filled to the brim. You know this story, so I am not going to continue reading it. By just reading a few verses, you already know, the background of this. Jesus was in a wedding. Who doesn't know that? The miracle in Cana. Miracle at the wedding. Everybody knows that. So what we're going to actually bring or talk from this particular passage is to dissect this one. I was a teacher back in India. I was a physics high school teacher back in India. So I want to just dissect a couple of these passages this morning with you. Here it says that there is a wedding there, and Jesus' mother was there. And the disciples were invited. Why didn't the writer say Jesus, mother, and disciples were invited? It doesn't, in the plain language, it doesn't say that all 3 groups were invited. Over there you can see Jesus was there, disciples were there, and I don't think all the disciples were selected by then, so not all the disciples probably wasn't there. And bride and bridegroom were there, and the parents were there, servants were there. The servants were actually doing the work, and there's master of ceremony was also mentioned there. Of course, there's guests there. So there's a whole bunch of people there in that wedding. In Jews' wedding, it's not just like this wedding in our time. They come in the morning and then have the wedding and then have the feast or the lunch and go away. That's not. Jews' wedding usually lasted 7 days. It's a big celebration. And over there, people were gathering, and then Jesus and his disciples were invited. They were there. There is a problem. All of a sudden, Jesus' mom, Mary, comes to Jesus and said, listen very carefully as I read this one. When the wine was gone, Jesus' mother said to Jesus, "Jesus, please do something. They have no more wine." Is that right? No. I read it wrong. Here Jesus' mother coming, and she did not say do something. She just came and said one word. They have no wine. What does that mean? Jesus has to go and buy something? Jesus' mother did not ask to do anything other than saying they have no wine. A single sentence, that's it. I don't see her just telling, begging, or anything. If it was my mom, would have been a different story. She would have just come to me, sometimes she comes and tell me, when I was growing up, tell me one time. Many times as the young kids, that we don't listen. We don't, even if you heard it, you act like what? You didn't hear it. Is that right? You're laughing. That's what we do. And then second time, my mom will actually raise the voice a little bit more. And the third time, it's going to be a disaster. You better do it. Otherwise, mom would say, Mary did not say anything like that. Mary just said one word, and then she just disappeared from there. Why did Mary knew about this problem? Why? Because at the end of this thing, we can see that master of ceremony didn't even know there was a problem. Master of ceremony, if something were to go wrong, who would actually know first? The MC. The MC didn't even know there was a problem. But Mary did know there was a problem. There's some group of people just talking in the background while the feast is going on, while the dances are going on, while everything is going on in the front. But there are some people actually talking about there is a problem. Is that true? That's what happened. There's a small group of people take the burden. They're actually just talking about there is a problem. Mary is actually going to Jesus and telling, hey, Jesus, there is a problem. That's what it meant, but she didn't say that. There's no more wine. That's what happens. Problem shows up at an unexpected time. This problem is an unexpected problem. They had so many months to prepare for the wedding, but they never expected on those days, if the wine running out, if wine runs out, it's going to be a shame. It's going to be a problem. It's a big deal. Jesus actually is from his birthplace to this Cana is only 9 miles. So he's actually in his own land. Mary comes and say, there is a problem. In our life also, problems comes unexpectedly. Do you think that problems will give us a notice? When you go to the doctor, take an X-ray just something silly, and that's when the doctor calls you and say that, hey, there is something black spot. There is a small black spot I see. You have to go and do an MRI. You have to do another scanning. Is that right? Unexpected problem will show up at the wrong time. You never expect something is going to happen. But one thing that we need to understand, when the unexpected problem comes in our life, if Jesus is there, the outcome is different. Is that true? Okay, let's continue on. I have few minutes left. Here, Mary and Jesus' answer. You heard this several times. Jesus' answer, why do you involve me? In other translation, it says that, woman, my time has not yet come. Here, he is calling his woman, doesn't mean that he was disrespecting. In Malayalam, it's actually a little more rougher, 3a. Now, this is not an disrespectful term over there in Jewish culture. Let me pass on. It's saying that Jesus is saying that my time has not come. Hey, this is not anything that I planned to do anything here. It's not in my itinerary. Usually we'll have crusades. You have actually healing crusades and all those things. Is that right? It's really publicized in a big manner. Facebook and YouTube and all those things. But here, Jesus is just simply attending a wedding. And then Mary is saying that Jesus is saying this discouraging words, and he's saying that my time has not yet come. But Mary is not getting upset. Mary is actually telling the servants. What is she telling? I said I was a teacher, so expect you to say something. Mary is telling, do whatever he tells. Did he say that he's going to say something? Why Mary is saying that? യേശു അവിടെ പറഞ്ഞില്ല ഞാൻ എന്തെങ്കിലും ചെയ്യാൻ നോക്കാമെന്ന് യേശു പറഞ്ഞില്ല. ഒരു ഹോപ്പും കൊടുത്തില്ല അവിടെ. എന്നാൽ അവിടെ മേരി പറയുന്നത് എന്താണ്? അവൻ എന്തെങ്കിലും പറഞ്ഞാൽ അതുപോലെ. Why did Mary say that? കഴിഞ്ഞ ആഴ്ച യേശു ചെയ്ത മിറക്കിൾ കൊണ്ടാ. കഴിഞ്ഞ ആഴ്ച യേശു 5 അപ്പം കൊണ്ട് 5000 പേരെ പോഷിപ്പിച്ചല്ലേ? കുരുടനെ സൗഖ്യമാക്കിയോ? യേശു ചെയ്ത ഹിസ്റ്ററി കൊണ്ടാണോ? Is that the history that in her brain telling that, do whatever he tells? There was no history before that time. Is that right? This is a first miracle. So she couldn't go on based on a miracle that happened before. Yes, there was a miracle happening in her life. What was the miracle? What was the miracle? An angel appeared to her some time back and told her that you are going to have a child. Is that right? Was that a miracle? Absolutely, that was a miracle. And she knew that miracle, is standing in front of her. അവരുടെ കണ്ണിന്റെ മുൻപിൽ അന്ന് നടന്ന അത്ഭുതം അവിടെ നിൽക്കുന്നതായി അവൾ കാണുമ്പോൾ അവൾക്ക് വിശ്വാസത്തോടെ പറയുവാൻ കഴിയും, if he says something, do that. That is the confirmation, that is the faith that she had. That's why she said it. And let's move on. We don't have much time. And the Jesus telling the disciples. Nearby stood 6 stone water jars and kinds used by the Jews for ceremonial washing, each holding 20 to 30 gallons. Jesus told the servants, fill the jars with the water. They fill them to the brim. Here also, pay close attention. There are 6 stone jars outside. These stone jars are just always outside. It was always outside. It was never brought inside because it was heavy, very big, and it's always staying outside in the rain and the sun and everything. If you leave something outside, how it's going to look? Very beautiful, very dirty. It's going to be probably looking like outside is all fungus and green and all dirty because this is an outside pot. And Jesus is filling the water, 20 to 30 gallons in each one of them. It is so heavy. Imagine that just filling the water inside that thing. Because on those days, there's no, tap or something that you can fill. You have to go down in the well and carry the water. Imagine that you have to go and get a bucket and bring the water, 20 to 30 gallons to fill it, each one of them. You have to just go 15 times if you can bring 2 gallons at a time. Is that right? 15 times. If you have 6 servants, how many times they have to go? They have to go down in the well and bring it back. They're going down, bringing back the water, filling it because Master said it. They're filling it. They put it actually just 6 or 8 times. If I was there as a servant, after 6 times, I'll just put the water. And I'll tell my fellow servants, Baiju, Simjan, sir, my name is Thomas. I'll probably just put some water and touch it and taste it. Nothing's changing, sir. Baiju, sir, Simjan, sir, let's stop it. I don't know what's going to happen. ഒന്നും സംഭവിക്കാൻ പോകുന്നില്ല കാരണം already test ചെയ്ത് നോക്കി. There's no taste changing. Nothing is happening. We're wasting our time. I will discourage them. I'll tell them to stop. And we go and tell Jesus, water is there. At least half of the water is there. If he wants to do something, he has plenty of water. Is that right? That's what I would say. അല്ലേ പറയത്തില്ലേ നമ്മൾ? തീർച്ചയായും പറഞ്ഞേനെ. അല്ല അതിന് പകരം if I tasted it and if I was actually tasting like a little bit of wine, I don't know how it tasted, but then what happens? Oh my God, then my energy will go through the roof. You'll just say, the energy will be, oh my God, this is actually a good thing. It is actually tasting close to wine or something. It's like a juice. Just let's do it. Then they will completely forget the labor. They'll just go and bring water and fill it. But that's not the case. Mary had a faith, and the servants also had a faith. Amen. What did they do? Did they stop after 6 trips? What does it say there? They filled 80%? They filled 100%? 100% plus a little bit. What does it say? Vakkolam nirachu. Not like 80%. With faith, they filled up to the brim. No one can say that somebody else added something in there. They closed that chapter, and they closed that actually claim, and they filled up to the brim. Is that right? And that's when Jesus is telling, go and take some. Take it to the master of ceremony. These pots are the attention now. These pots were outside. Nobody actually paid attention to these pots until that time because it was outside. It was muddy, it was dirty, and it was actually outside. But now there is wine inside. Everybody pays attention. Wherever Jesus shows up, your situation change. Your status change. Your outlook change. People look at you differently. If you invite Jesus to a wedding, it's going to be a celebration with all kinds of problems going on in the background. If you invite him to a funeral, that funeral will come a celebration. Is that right? The flowers people bring for a funeral will have to relabeled as congratulations for the new life. Is that right? Is that true? How many people Jesus buried? How many people Jesus buried? Correct. യേശുവിനെ വിളിച്ചെടുത്ത് പറയില്ല അവിടെ പോരത്തല്ല എന്താ ചെയ്തത് ആൾക്കാർ ഉയർത്തെഴുന്നേറ്റ് വന്നിട്ടേ ഉള്ളൂ. So the flowers will become worse when Jesus comes. Situations will change. Miracle will happen. This miracle was not actually in his itinerary, in his schedule. The unexpected problem happened, but there's an unscheduled miracle by our God, our Jesus. That's my God. That's your God. നമ്മുടെ ജീവിതത്തിൽ അപ്രതീക്ഷിതമായ സംഭവങ്ങളും പ്രയാസങ്ങളും നടക്കുമ്പോൾ യേശു അപ്രതീക്ഷിതമായ സമയത്ത് അവൻ്റെ കാര്യപരിപാടിയിൽ ഇല്ലാത്തതാണെങ്കിലും നിനക്ക് വേണ്ടി അത്ഭുതം ചെയ്യുവാൻ ശക്തനായ ദൈവമാണ് എൻ്റെ ദൈവം, നിന്റെ ദൈവം, നീ ആരാധിക്കുന്ന ദൈവം. ഏത് സമയത്തും വിളിച്ചാൽ ഇറങ്ങി വരുന്ന ദൈവമാണ്. അവൻ്റെ കാര്യപരിപാടി അതിൻ്റെ ഐറ്റിനറി നോക്കി ചെയ്യുന്നതല്ല ദൈവം. നിന്റെ ആവശ്യങ്ങളെ അറിഞ്ഞ് സഹായിപ്പാൻ ശക്തനായ ദൈവമാണ് എൻ്റെ ദൈവം. Over there Jesus is telling that take it to the master of ceremony. And because of lack of time, I just want to go so fast. And these servants, I don't know whether they tasted again. They took it to the master. Is that true? And the master is actually now wondering. Because this guy didn't even know. Where there was a problem, all these problems are happening. They're bringing wine buckets to him. I'm just in my imagination. They're bringing, and he has tasted it. Is that true? He tasted it. And he's telling that, where did this wine coming from? Where did you hide it? He's wondering. And then there's nothing, next thing is happening is what? He's calling the bridegroom. In my imagination, I am just telling, അവൻ ആ മണവാളിനെ വിളിച്ചിട്ട് ചോദിക്കുകയാണ്, ഇത് എവിടാ വെച്ചിരുന്നത്, സൂക്ഷിച്ച് വെച്ചിരുന്നത് എവിടാണ്? ഇങ്ങനല്ലല്ലോ സാധാരണ സമ്പ്രദായം. ഏതാ ആദ്യം എന്താ കൊടുക്കുന്നത്? അതാണ് പിന്നെ ഇത് കൊടുക്കുന്നത്. ഇത് എവിടെ വെച്ചിരുന്നു? I'm just thinking that if I call Baiju on the stage and tell him something like this and he didn't have a clue, he's going to look at me like, deer in the headlight. He's going to, ഈ മണവാളൻ്റെ നോട്ടം നിങ്ങളൊന്ന് നോക്കിയേ. എനിക്കറിയത്തില്ല ഇവനിത് അറിഞ്ഞോന്ന്. ഈ മണവാളൻ എന്തുവാ? ഇവിടെ ഡാൻസ് ചെയ്യുക, അവനവിടെ പാർട്ടിയാണ്, എല്ലാം ചെയ്യുകയാണ് അല്ലേ? ഇവിടെ എന്താ ബാക്ക്ഗ്രൗണ്ടിൽ? there is a group of people working, interceding. Is that right? He's dancing. He's wondering. He didn't have a clue what's happening. എൻ്റെയും നിൻ്റെയും ജീവിതത്തിൽ when we are actually going on with our daily life, there are people behind us praying, interceding for us. And that is the reason we can stand on, we can drive on. Maybe it's your mom, maybe your close friend, your pastor, whoever, somebody is interceding for you because there is an unexpected problem is facing you. An obstacle is on your way. In that obstacle, somebody is praying behind you. There are unexpected people showing up for your unexpected problem. That's when the unscheduled miracle of God is going to happen in your life. നമ്മുടെ ജീവിതത്തിൽ നമ്മൾ ഭാരങ്ങളിലൂടെ കടന്നു പോകുന്നതിന് മുമ്പ് നമുക്ക് വേണ്ടി മധ്യസ്ഥ അണയ്ക്കുന്ന പ്രാർത്ഥിക്കുന്നതായ ഒരു കൂട്ടം ജനം നമ്മുടെ പുറകിലുണ്ടെന്ന് നമുക്കറിയാം. നമുക്ക് വേണ്ടി മധ്യസ്ഥ അണയ്ക്കുന്നത് യേശു ഇറങ്ങി വന്ന് പ്രവർത്തിക്കുവാൻ അവർ മുട്ടിപ്പായി പ്രാർത്ഥിക്കുന്നത് കൊണ്ട് നാം നിലനിന്ന് പോകുന്നു, നമ്മുടെ ജീവനെ കാക്കുന്നു. അല്ലേ? There is a problem is happening. The bridegroom doesn't know. Master of ceremony doesn't know there is a problem. But there are some people who knows there is a problem. In every church there are people in the church are interceding for the problems they cannot see. Pastor may not be able to see the problem that are coming on his way. But there are people who are interceding for them. And that's when miracle happen. You know, what kind of miracle might Jesus do? It's huge. It's not simple. Why I said that? This wedding is in Cana of Galilee. How many people, Pastor Baiji, you think that? You just throw a number.
It's a Malayali wedding?
Not a Malayali wedding, it's a Jews wedding. It's probably 100 people maybe, all the times, all right? This stone jars contain 20 to 30 gallons. Times 6. 180 gallons of wine. 180 gallons of wine. I don't know which wedding in the world needs 180 gallons of wine. They can sell that wine for the whole year, and sell it and just take the proceed and live on. When my God do the miracle, അവിടെ 180 ഗാലന്റെ ആവശ്യമുണ്ടെന്ന് എനിക്ക് തോന്നുന്നില്ല. ഞാനൊരു കണക്ക് കൂട്ടി, ഈ ഒരു ഗാലനകത്ത് എത്ര ഗ്ലാസ് ഉണ്ടെന്ന് അറിയാമോ? 16 ഗ്ലാസ് ഉണ്ട്. ഈ 16 ഗ്ലാസ് ഉണ്ടെങ്കിൽ ഈ 180 ഗാലനകത്ത് 2880. There's 16 glasses of 8 ounce in a gallon. And 2,880 glasses. If it's 100 people in the wedding, they're going to drink 29 glasses. Man. Huh? Yeah, it'll be a designated driver needed. That's not my point. No, my point is, my God, when He gives you something, when He blesses you with something, it is not going to be slow. It's going to be overflowing, like Pastor Baiju said. He's not a small God. He's a great God. He's an awesome God. His miracles are actually different. He gives you abundantly, exceedingly beyond your imagination. I can stand here and testify so many things in my life that God has done in our life. Each and every day I can count the blessings of my God and who has actually sustained me until now. As I said, God's miracle. Mary's faith, servant's faith. There was a problem, hidden problem. Only few people knew. But God actually changed. God took the shame away. There was things that in our way, in our life, our family life, it would have been actually a shameful situation. But it was actually a glorious situation because of Jesus was there. നമ്മുടെ ജീവിതത്തിൽ നിന്ദാകരമാകാമായിരുന്നതായ സന്ദർഭങ്ങളെ ഒഴിവാക്കി അതിനെ അത്ഭുതകരമായി അത്ഭുത സാക്ഷ്യമായി മാറ്റിയ ദൈവമാണ് എൻ്റെ ദൈവം. ഇന്ന് രാവിലെ കാലം നമുക്ക് ഒരുമിച്ച് അവനെ സ്തുതിക്കുവാനായിട്ട് കഴിയുമോ? എൻ്റെ ദൈവം ആരാണ്? അത്ഭുതങ്ങളെ ചെയ്യുന്ന ദൈവമാണ്. കുരുടനെ സൗഖ്യമാക്കിയ ദൈവമാണ്. You heard all these things that are happening. One of the latest things that you and I heard was actually Pastor P.S. Philip passed away. And I want to actually just say an incident happened the place of Pastor P.S. Philip, and I'll just cut short here. In Tonyamala, that is his place, birthplace. Long time back, there was a young pastor, 29 years old, and 27 years of his wife. They went there pastoring a church. They were pastoring in Tonyamala. It's a small parsonage. The parsonage was with the 2 rooms. And it was built with actually stone, the local stone. It's not even stone, mud stone, whatever. And that place was actually full of evangelicals and not too many Pentecostals there. But they were actually just ministering there. But one day, this lady, the pastor's wife, was bitten by a poisonous snake. It was a poisonous snake. She fell unconscious. And before she fell down, and she told the people, the neighbors, that pray for me. You don't need to take me to a doctor's place. Just only pray for me. For the pastor was called by, pastor came by and asked, what did she say? She was bitten by the poisonous snake. She said just to pray. They started praying. The people were actually, all the believers, it's a new church, brand new church. This young pastor, they had 2 kids. This is, the 3rd child, she was pregnant with a child, 8 months pregnant by the time this snake bit her. She fell unconscious. They prayed. All the people outside came, the Hindus and the Marthamites and everybody else came, and they said, this lady is going to die. Not only this lady is going to die, the child inside the womb, the stomach will also die. You wait. You're going to have burials. But they prayed until midnight. At midnight, this lady just started actually opening her eyes. Her body became blue. And she said, I want to throw up. She threw up. The neighbors came and then cut the hair of some people and tried to actually pull out the snake teeth. There were 2 teeth were there. And pulled it out. And she threw up 5 times. She became conscious. They prayed. Church earnestly prayed. And the people around, outside people said, somehow this lady got saved. Somehow God saved this lady. But wait for 2 more months. That baby would be dead. It will be still a baby. എന്തോ ഭാഗ്യവശാൽ ഈ സ്ത്രീ രക്ഷപ്പെട്ടു. എന്നാൽ ഈ സ്ത്രീയുടെ വയറ്റിൽ കിടക്കുന്ന 8 മാസം പ്രായമുള്ള ഈ കുഞ്ഞ് പുറത്തു വരുമ്പോൾ നിശ്ചലമായിരിക്കും, മരിച്ചൊരു കുഞ്ഞായിരിക്കും. But God is a great God. ദൈവം ശക്തനായ മിറക്കിളിനെ, അത്ഭുതങ്ങളെ ചെയ്യുന്ന ദൈവമാണെന്ന് വ്യക്തമായി വിളിച്ചു പറയുവാൻ എനിക്ക് ഇന്ന് രാവിലെ കാലം കഴിയും. കാര്യം ആ കുഞ്ഞ് ജനിച്ചപ്പോൾ മരിച്ചിരുന്നെങ്കിൽ നിങ്ങൾ ഈ ശബ്ദം കേൾക്കില്ലായിരുന്നു. You would not have heard this sound if that baby was dead, because that baby is standing right here talking to you. ഇന്ന് രാവിലെ കാലം നിങ്ങളോട് സംസാരിക്കുന്ന ആ ബേബി അന്ന് എൻ്റെ മാതാവിൻ്റെ വയറ്റിൽ എൻ്റെ മാതാവിനെ ഒരു പാമ്പ് കടിച്ച് നശിച്ചു പോകുമെന്ന് പറഞ്ഞതായ ഒരു വ്യക്തിയാണ് ഇന്ന് രാവിലെ കാലം നിങ്ങളുടെ മുമ്പിൽ നിന്ന് സംസാരിക്കുന്നത്. എൻ്റെ ദൈവം ജീവിക്കുന്ന ദൈവമാണോ? What is impossible to God? In Genesis, there is a word that is anything too hard for you. ദൈവത്താൽ അസാധ്യമായ ഏതെങ്കിലും കാര്യമുണ്ടോ? You know, my God is a great God. Can we all stand in the presence of God? Can we think of the things that you heard this morning? There is unexpected problem. This pastor and my dad and mom faced an unexpected problem in their life. When that happened, a miracle happened. That is why you're hearing this voice. My God is a great God. Can we close your eyes and think of the things that God had done in your life, the miraculous savings, miracles happen in your life. How many miracles happened in your life this morning that you opened your eyes? That is a miracle. In the രാവിലെ കാലം നമുക്ക് നമ്മുടെ കണ്ണുകളെ അടച്ച് നമ്മുടെ വായികളെ തുറന്ന് നമുക്കൊന്നുകൂടെ ഉറക്കെ എന്ന് ദൈവത്തോട് പറയാമോ? ദൈവമേ, എനിക്ക് നന്ദിയുണ്ട് നിന്നോട്. നീ ചെയ്ത അത്ഭുതങ്ങളെ ഞാൻ ഓർക്കുകയാണെങ്കിൽ, if I remember the mercies, if I remember the miracles happen in my life, how can I be like this? I praise you, God, with all my heart, all my might. എൻ്റെ എല്ലാ ശക്തി ഉപയോഗിച്ച് ഞാൻ ദൈവത്തെ സ്തുതിക്കുവാൻ. ഇന്ന് രാവിലെ കാലം മിറക്കിള് നമ്മുടെ ജീവിതത്തിൽ, it may be a small thing, it may be a big thing, but God is a great God. We serve an awesome God. There is no other God, greater than our God, our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Thank you very much, and God bless you all, and we'll see you next time. Thank you, Pastor Baiju and Simjan and all the church board members. God bless you all.